Sementara itu, laporan KRI turut menggariskan beberapa langkah penyelesaian dari segi pembuatan polisi perumahan. Selain itu, ia juga memerlukan kerjasama semua pihak terlibat, pemaju, jurutera, arkitek dan sebagainya bagi menjayakan hasrat ini.
Perumahan Mampu Milik bukan isu baru di Malaysia. Ia umpama satu keperluan kini dan isu mendesak ini memerlukan kerjasama rapat semua pihak, terutama pemaju hartanah. Astro Awani bertemu pengarah urusan Khazanah Research Institute KRI Datuk Sharon Moghzani bagi membincangkan lebih lanjut isu menyediakan perumahan Mampu Milik.
Alright, Datuk, thank you so much for joining us at this time. Now, first of all, the findings of the report is very interesting. It's about affordable housing. It is a key issue among the public. So now, first of all, the report basically contrary to the normal perception of the increasing of the housing price, and most of the factors are the cost of land and the construction cost. Maybe, but the finding is quite different from the normal perception. Maybe you can, share with us a little bit on that.
Yeah, thank you. No. Our report really looks, first of all, at what is the problem in terms of affordability. And when you look at affordability, it's not just the price of the house, you also have to look at the incomes of the people the houses are geared at. And so the general definition of what is an affordable housing market is where the median house price is 3 times the median household income. So our household income is around 4,500 ringgit, median household income. And we're trying to figure out what would make something affordable. And of course, there are different markets. Malacca, for example, is considered quite an affordable market because the median house price in Malacca is around 3 times the median household income in Malacca, whereas in Penang or in Kuala Lumpur, they are considered severely unaffordable because it's over 5 times. The thing is, what is causing house prices to go up? Many people, some would say it's construction costs, but that's not the case because over the last few years, construction costs have been coming down, yet house prices have still been going up, so it can't be construction costs. The other thing is people say it's land prices, but it depends which causes what. From our studies and our research, it looks like it's the high house prices which are pulling up land prices. So why is someone willing to pay a lot of money for land? Well, because he can sell houses at even more money because of that. If house prices didn't go up as fast, then land prices wouldn't go as fast. So we think that the real solution to our affordable housing problem is to make the supply of housing far more responsive. At the moment, it's not responsive, which is why every time there's a surge in demand, house prices just shoot up. It shouldn't be like that.
And you mentioned just now about the housing should not be a social welfare. Maybe you can brief about that.
Yeah, at the moment, many people look affordable housing as if it was a social welfare issue, as if the government should somehow subsidize house buying or house production. And we think that cannot be the case because when you look at affordable housing, you're really looking at housing for 80% of the population. We can't be doing social welfare for 80% of the population. What we need to do is to make structural reforms in the industry so that house prices as a whole comes down. Now, obviously, for the very low income households, we may have to provide social housing. Many countries do that, and that will carry on. But we're not really talking here about social housing for the very low income population. We're talking housing for most people who have a good job, who have increasing household incomes, but still find it hard to buy a house. And that's the kind of reform we're talking about.
So basically, there are 3 recommendations given to the government. Maybe how do we go about it from these 3 recommendations?
Well, the most important one really is this change in how we do business, and that is a big ask because we're asking for a change in the way industry does it. What we do know is that it's possible, and again, the example we've chosen is in Philippines, where house prices there were certainly birthed from this one Filipino company, where they can supply a 2-bedroom house with a communal swimming pool for everybody for 50,000 ringgit. Now that to me, is affordable housing, because you give a decent product for a good price. And the reason they can do it in Philippines is partly because they can build a house very quickly. They can do it in something like 14 days. Now, I'm not saying we should go from, all the way to 14 days immediately, but if we can build houses faster, if we do some changes in the housing supply chain, if we use more industrial build systems, if we consolidate the design of the house and the construction of the house and make people innovate in the construction supply system, we think that it might be possible to bring down the cost of housing.
Now, you think that all parties should cooperate and work together, the developer, engineers, architects and all that, but developer per se, they are commercially driven. How do we go about it? I mean, in terms of cooperation, because if they can sell the house at 1 million, say for instance, why should they sell at 500,000, say for instance? That's the mindset that they have right now, commercially driven. How do we go about this?
Well, this is the thing. I think if we start with a few pilot projects to show that we can bring the construction cost down and we can bring the time to construct down, then I think it becomes a reasonable business proposition. Remember the Filipino housing developer I was talking to you about? They make very good profits. There are many ways of making a good profit. One way is to sell a few things at a very expensive price, or you can sell lots of things at a less expensive price, right? So again, if you manage to satisfy the huge demand for affordable housing, and you manage to do it at a price good enough that people can afford it, you can still make a good profit.
Last but not least, if we were to implement all the recommendations right now, maybe in terms of time frame, how do you foresee the time frame of for us to get the price affordable?
I wish I could tell you that by tomorrow or by next year the problem will be solved. It won't be solved by next year, but I think we have to start solving the problem now. And we start with a few pilot projects and then show that it's possible to be done. Then hopefully more and more people will do it, and then we can see a change. The present system we have of building houses is something we inherited from the colonial days, where you have an architect, an engineer, etc., etc., etc. So it won't take 50 years. It must take less than 50 years, but I can't promise a time. But what I do know is that if we don't have this big reforms in the way we do things, houses are going to just get more and more unaffordable as our population grows, our urbanization rate grows, the number of households grow, because now, before it's 5 or 6 people to a house, now it's 4 people to a house, so you need more houses because there are less people per house. So with all those things happening, we have to do it sooner rather than later.
Right, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.